Alright everybody, welcome back to another review on the channel, and I did not expect this and I doubt all of you expected this, but this is going to be your guys' review for Iran's resounding 5-0 win over Costa Rica. What a scoreline for Iran. I don't remember the last time the Iranian national team won by like such a big margin in any match, competitive, friendly, whatever it may be. It's just not really in our DNA to absolutely destroy a national team. Most us Iranian national team fans consider like a 2-0 win us kind of really going at it in a game, because we're kind of like that win by 1 goal difference type of team. So a 5-0 win is crazy to see from us, but I will say it doesn't really change a whole lot in the grand scheme of things for Iran going into this World Cup. But I will say this review will have a lot more positives than negatives, and this is kind of unprecedented on my YouTube channel to have 2 back-to-back reviews having a lot more positives than negatives for Iran. Again, the main thing being nothing really changes with my stance of how I am still a little bit nervous going into this World Cup. I still think Iran have a lot of deficiencies, flaws going into this tournament, and by no means us winning 5-0 against Costa Rica, we're going to be waving the flag thinking, man, we're for sure getting a dark horse run. It's not like that, but there is some good things that we have learned from this match. But before we get into all of that, boys and girls, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you're a big fan of the Iranian national team, Asian football, leading into this World Cup. We're going to try to hit 6,000 subscribers before the World Cup starts in less than 3 months. We are so close. So make sure to subscribe right now before you forget. Make sure to drop a like. Let's get this video to over 50 likes in honor of the 5-0 win. I think that would be an appropriate goal to go for this video. And of course, don't forget to drop your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. So for this video, I'm going to first talk about Infantino coming to this match, the statement that he made at this match, my review, and then finishing off about my overall thoughts for Iran, finishing up this camp and going into their final international window camp before the World Cup. We're only one more window now away before the World Cup starting, before the real deal actually happens. First, let's get started about why the heck was Infantino at some random friendly in Turkey between Iran and Costa Rica. Even I was surprised. I don't think any of us in this Iranian national team circle thought he was going to be there, come out and make the statement talking about how Iran will be playing in the World Cup. There's no option B, C, or D. It is just option A. Iran is going to be playing in their group. We're not moving them. They're not withdrawing. They are playing and they are going to be at this World Cup. So that basically kills off all of these rumors and kind of all the fluff that has been posted leading up to this World Cup about Iran. Are they going to participate? Are they going to move their matches to Mexico? That is done and dusted. So I think that is a huge positive to start off this video, and I will for sure be at that Iran-Egypt match. I mean, it's in my own backyard. It's in Seattle, so I am most definitely gonna be there. Insert that Mbappe meme. So now when it comes to talking about the match, one big thing that I do want to mention as well before I get started on everything was yet again another gesture that the Iranian national team made before kickoff, holding up pictures to pay homage to all the children lost in the recent bombings that happened in the country. When it came to the starting lineup, it was different from the previous match against Nigeria. We didn't deploy a 5-back formation. We went a little bit more offensive, which I think is good, because in that previous video, I talked about how Costa Rica are a lesser side to Nigeria. We should be playing more offensively, having more of the possession, having more of the emphasis in this game, controlling the tempo. And I think Ghalenoui set us up for that. And I was happy to see that Ghalenoui is actually changing up his tactics and formations based on the opponents, showing that he has that managerial flexibility, which it should be a given. But how Ghalenoui has done things leading up to this World Cup, I don't really trust much that he does. But I was happy to see that he had that tactical flexibility to try something different against Nigeria, against a stronger opponent that has more offensive capabilities, has more firepower up top, and then against Costa Rica, where they are a lesser opponent. We should be having more of the possession, controlling more of the tempo, playing a formation that suits that. And again, I think he got the offense and midfield perfectly spot on, with the biggest positive being young Amir Razakiniya playing in this game. I've talked about him in a few videos videos, I think he is one of Iran's best young players that should be getting called up to this World Cup. And I think he looks spectacular. I would say he looked better than Ghorbani, playing that regista role, controlling the tempo, really having a professional, mature performance against Costa Rica. And I think more and more as time's going on, I think we are seeing the replacements for Qudus, Ezzatullahi in this midfield, Razakinia, Ghorbani, that youthfulness that I've been talking about that we need in this team. Those two guys have been great additions in both of these matches. I think both played really well in their own ways in the game against Nigeria, in this match against Costa Rica. Those two guys, lights out. Offensively, Taremi, Gholizadeh. I mean, Gholizadeh in particular. I know so much of the conversation is going to be on Azmoun, Taremi. Those are going to be the guys for us at this World Cup. But Gholizadeh on form is Iran's best player going into this tournament. I think he is by far going to be one of our standout guys that is going to have to make it or break it, be the difference for us offensively at this World Cup. If you've been watching the form Gholizadeh is in going into this tournament, he is Iran's best player. I know that might be a little bit controversial, but when it comes to a guy that can be an X factor, create half chances, make the difference for Iran in games where maybe things aren't going so well, Gholizadeh is that guy. He is out and out the #1 offensive player that should be on Iran's team sheet every single World Cup match. If he is not hurt, which fingers crossed he won't be because he's so injury prone, we have seen him play so many consecutive games, playing in some of the best form I think we have seen Gholizadeh be in his entire career. It's really refreshing to watch. And to add on top of that, Mohebi as well, playing well. Ghayedi, playing well. The winger options that we have with Ghayedi, Mohebi, Gholizadeh, and Said Manesh, if Ghalanoui had his head screwed on straight, is a really good mixture of wingers that we can plug and play and have options for in these 3 games. From the 5 goals, we saw 2 goals scored from the penalty spot by Taremi. I mean, that is the Taremi classic, him just scoring PKs, no complaints there. He also bagged himself an assist where we saw Mohebi, Gholizadeh score, and as well Ghayedi with the 5th sealing goal. My goodness, it was an absolute insane volley by Ghayedi. And I know, take it with a grain of salt, this is Costa Rica, who have been on an absolute landslide in CONCACAF. But I said after the Nigeria game, this game against Costa Rica, we need to string a few goals here. I thought maybe 2 or 3, but 5-0 for a national team that has a majority of its players not fit because most of the players are playing in the PGPL. They haven't played in about a month. A lot of the senior guys that play across Europe have mentally been down in the dumps due to what's been going on in the country. To string 5 goals, a really solid performance. If you guys look at those goals, a lot of just great team passing play goals, especially the one that Mohebi scores. It was played all the way back from the goalkeeper and all the way up to the offense. I mean, that's some Pep Guardiola Manchester City stuff. But again, I will say, take it with a grain of salt. But with everything that has been going on, lack of fitness, lack of cohesion, everything that's been going on in the country, to score 5 goals regardless of the opponent is still a good sign. As I said in the beginning of the video, it doesn't really change anything for me. It's not like, oh shoot, we're definitely gonna go and roll over New Zealand, Egypt, and Belgium at this World Cup. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself like I did in the 2022 World Cup. I'm definitely gonna be learning from that. But it is just positive to see. It is nice to see Iran have a very strong performance, especially after all this noise that has been circulating around the national team. My only negative, which I could be nitpicking in your guys' eyes, is the defense. I think a big positive that we saw in the Nigeria friendly is our defense getting exposed, getting tested, and that's what I want to see here in these friendlies. Sadly, against Costa Rica, they really didn't test our defense, and I would have liked to have seen that. I don't mind if we leak 1 or 2 goals if it means we learn from it and we see what our deficiencies are, because we know our defense is probably our weakest point. That is why Carlos Queiroz had so much emphasis on defense for us, because we have such a weak defensive foundation, and the players that play in that defensive line are just not that good. We didn't as well rotate to see guys like Sama Fala, who I talked so much about in that previous video against Nigeria, how I wanted to see him play in this game, and we didn't give him any minutes. We rotated the goalkeepers. We played Niazmand. We played Hosseini, which I think is fine, But why not play a guy like Saman Fala? You call up a guy like Mehdi Ghayedi, you play him in this game. I think these are invaluable experiences in a good way to get a variety in the defensive line. You saw how good Qorbani, Razaqinya were in the 2 friendlies in the midfield. Why not switch up the defense, which is evidently one of our worst areas of the pitch? That's where I'm like, man, Qalinouhi, you did like 8/10 of everything right. You rotated well in the offense. You rotated well in the midfield. You changed up some of the formations and tactics based on the opponents that we were playing. Just the defense, man. The most important part, in my opinion. Why don't you give younger guys a shot? Switch it up a little bit. Why does it always gotta be Kanani, Gholizadeh, Nemati, Esmaili Fard? Old, really bad defenders. When you have some, yeah, maybe not experienced, they might make the same mistakes as these old, stubborn, poor defenders that we're already seeing play, but they have more athleticism, they're more youthful, bring something different to our defensive line, and maybe could learn a thing or two here. That would be my only gripe. That's my only negative. I wish the defensive line got a little bit more tested, because this is the time where they need to get tested, because I don't want to see them get tested like how the USA got tested against Belgium. That's not what I want to see. Not at the World Cup, but here in these friendlies and playing some of the more younger defenders, especially in Falo's case. He has been a better defender than mostly all of these defenders that you've played in these friendlies that play in the PGPL, in the same league as them. So that would be my only gripe. So to close things off, all in all for this camp, I think it was a bit of a positive for the fact that we were supposed to have big friendlies against Spain, Portugal, Algeria, some to be played in this camp, some to be played in our final camp before the World Cup. We were able to get some half decent friendlies in this camp, see some positive moments with changing of the formation, showing that tactical flexibility, some personnel that we've wanted to see play, a more ideal offensive line for us. I think all in all, it was good. I think I would have liked to have seen us get tested more in the Costa Rica match like we did in the Nigeria match, so we can learn some more from our biggest weak point, which is our defense. But I think all things considered, it was a good camp from us, all in all. All that remains, as I said, is one last camp before the World Cup, which it's looking like we will play one national team somewhere in Europe, then go to Arizona and play Puerto Rico out of all national teams for one of our last friendlies before the World Cup. So we'll have like 1 to 3 more friendlies, with one of them being confirmed to be Puerto Rico in Arizona, which will be our home base camp for the World Cup, which Iran keeps on being the gift that keeps on giving, where they're playing national teams that I didn't even know we could play in friendlies, in this case being Puerto Rico. But I guess, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to the friendlies. So we should have 1 to 2 more friendlies that will be played in Europe before going to Arizona and then getting started at the World Cup. So yeah, boys and girls, that's going to be the end of the review. A handful of positives, which we don't normally have in these post-match reviews, and I will most definitely take that. But as I always say, boys and girls, my opinion only matters so much. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash the like button on this video. Let's get over 50 likes in honor of the 5-0 win. And if you're new to the channel and you're a big fan of the Iranian national team, Asian football, this is the channel that you need to be at before the World Cup. We're trying to get 6,000 subscribers, and I know with your guys' help, we can get there. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't stop watching now, as I have plenty of other amazing videos on my channel. So make sure to click this video next, as this video was recommended to you by YouTube. So make sure to click that and watch that next. And you can click over here, as I post content weekly on the channel and you don't want to miss it. But boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.